You know, the police officers in Nashville and Louisville rushed in without regard to their personal safety and even engaged the assailants after they were injured. They deserve the thanks and gratitude and admiration of every American. So we need to support and back the blue. But secondly, with Joe Biden spending trillions of dollars on their liberal agenda, I think the time has come for leaders in our nation's capital to give every community in the country the funds to place armed resource officers in every public and private school in America. You know, in the wake of the Sandy Hook shooting, right after I was elected governor in 2012, we enacted legislation here in the Hoosier State to do just that. The most prosperous nation in the history of the world can afford to protect our kids. It'll just take leadership to do it. So stand with law enforcement, protect our kids. And finally, while the assailants in the most recent attacks were taken out by law enforcement on the scene, too many mass shooters languish in prison for years. Well, men and women, I don't have to tell you, justice delayed is justice denied. It's inconceivable to me that the shooter who killed 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018 is languishing in a Florida prison. I believe the time has come to institute a federal death penalty statute with accelerated appeal to ensure that those who engage in mass shootings face execution in months, not years. And finally, with so much violence taking place at the hands of those with severe mental illness, the answer to mass shootings is not fewer guns, but it's more institutional mental health in this country. You know, in the 1960s, liberals emptied our psych wards only to fill our streets and ultimately our prisons with the mentally ill. Today, more than 20% of our prison population have serious mental illness. And the truth is, these people shouldn't be in prison because they never should have been allowed out on the streets to commit the crimes that they committed. You know, one of my last acts as governor of Indiana before I became your vice president was we broke ground here in the Hoosier State on the first new mental health hospital to be built in 30 years. Men and women, we have got to get back to institutional mental health care in this country. Families with someone who is struggling, a threat to themselves or a threat to others, have to have a place to send that family member other than the county lockup. We've got to rebuild institutional mental health care in America. Now, while the other side talks reflexively about gun control, these are real solutions. Backing the blue, protecting our kids, advancing policies that will ensure that justice is swift, and dealing with the dangerous mentally ill with institutional care. But it's going to take new leadership to get these things done. You know, when the government allows rampant crime, or even worse, when it encourages rampant crime by lax prosecutors in our major cities, government's enabling assault not just on the American people, but on liberty itself.